It's finally here! Phase 8 of Season of Discovery is now out. With it comes a new raid which launches this Thursday, a new legendary weapon in the Corrupted Ashbringer, which is absolutely amazing for all those paladins, etc. out there. We have a new zone, new recipes, and so much more. Hopefully you already know this and you've seen my Frostmage guide, but now it's time to look at fire. Now I will explain the new set bonuses. I went in more detail in my previous video, but just in case you didn't see that or you just want to know for fire, I'll go through it quickly. Basically, we get a huge living bomb buff. Your living bomb now deals damage every 1 second and will detonate if the target dies. That's on the 2 set. And the 4 set is casting Pyroblast cancels 1 stack of the effect from your Bellfire Bolt, which is absolutely huge. So we'll be using our hot streaks, reset the Bellfire Bolt stacks so we can use even more Bellfire Bolts. And then we have the 6 set, which reduces the cooldown on your Fire Blast by 5 seconds, and Fire Blast now refreshes the duration of your living bomb on the target. Now this is absolutely fantastic because in the past it's been a case of, do we cast Living Bomb? Should we do it? Then they gave us the Scorch debuff with Living Bomb, so it was like, okay, we'll use Living Bomb, but we won't refresh it as much unless we need the Scorch stack debuff, or do we just manually use Scorch? There were so many calculations going on all of the time. Now Blizzard has just said, do you know what? Cast your Living Bomb, use your Fire Blast as normal, and we'll just refresh it for you. So that makes my life, your life, and everyone's lives a lot easier, so we can just use our normal rotation and not have to worry about that. Kind of like crypto, you set it and you forget it, right? Now for talents in phase 8, we will be using this build that we've used a couple of times in the past. We go into Frost up to Cold Snap and we fill the rest out with Fire. Now in the past there has been some debate over Incinerate, which increases your critical chance of your Fire Blast and your Scorch spells, but of course our Fire Blast rune makes it so our Fire Blast always crits, and then we don't actually cast Scorch. So why would you take this? Well, this talent actually affects your Living Bomb explosions, but now Living Bomb has changed so it doesn't explode unless the target is dead. You don't actually have to take this at all. But then the debate is, where do you put these 2 points? I'll leave that entirely up to you. Based on the explosion, AoE damage, and the increased crit chance, we just keep these points in here. But you can put those points wherever you want. So yeah, these are your fire talents. For gear and runes, we will use the Fireleaf head with the Hot Streak rune. We will use the new Vial of Puss neck. It's got 1% crit and 40 spell damage. Very, very nice neck indeed. For the shoulder, we are actually keeping the Enigma set. So the Enigma set has come back once again. It's proven very, very strong in phase 7, and we will use it again in phase 8. This is because the set bonus, your Fire Blast, now causes your next fire spell to gain 50% increased critical strike chance for 10 seconds. Now, given how our gear is right now, this is basically 100% crit chance. So it's very, very strong. And in this phase, we'll be fire blasting more than ever before. If you don't have this set though, don't worry, because remember, you don't need the reputation anymore, so you can run AQ and you can get these shoulders very, very easily. And for the rune, we will use the Soul of the Torture again. Your Fireball, Frostfire Bolt, Bellfire Bolt spells gain 3% increased chance for each of your fire effects on the target. So we will be maintaining 3 fire effects at all times to have a 9% damage increase. Very, very nice. For the cloak, it's the Cloak of the Necropulas with the Overheat rune. We've got the Fireleaf chest with Enlightenment. Yes, Enlightenment is simming the highest. It is the best. You can take the flat crit chance if you want. That's entirely up to you, but Enlightenment is the best. For the braces, we've got the Fireleaf braces and the Bellfire Bolt rune. For the weapon, we've got the ATS here. This is because of the group bonus. You will be buffing each other. If you do have it, you can keep it. But if you don't have this, it's not the end of the world. There are some really, really nice weapons coming this phase. And there's an argument that ATS is not even the best in slot anyway, but we kind of have to put it here for all those guys that went out and got it and they finally have it and they're really happy. I don't want to sit here and tell you that it's not best in slot anymore. So just use it, it's fine. For the wand, we have the Conundrum. This is a really nice wand because the equip bonus gives the range of your Fire Blast an increased 10 yards. This has always been a thing with positioning in Classic. You have to position a certain way because the Fire Blast range isn't as high as your other spells, but now this wand fixes it for us. The gloves, we've got the Fireleaf gloves with the Living Bomb rune. The belt, it's the Fireleaf belt with the Frostfire Bolt rune. For the legs, Fireleaf leggings with Icy Veins rune. The Enigma boots with Spell Power rune. The Frostfire ring with Fire specialization. The Bartholomew's Promise. Really nice ring. 1% increased cast speed, 1% crit, 33 damage. It's really good. And Frost specialization. For the trinket, we have the Mind Quickening gem. You can't escape this trinket. It's really nice. I suppose there is an argument for the Restrained Essence of Sephiron, but if we look at the difference, you're looking at a 4% decrease, so of course you will use the Mind Quickening gem. And then finally, the Infusion of Souls. This trinket is absolutely amazing. It gives you 4% casting speed, 26 spell damage, but most importantly, the equip effect of your global cooldown caused by your non-weapon based spells can be reduced by spell haste up to 0.5 seconds. What this means is the more haste you have, the lower your global cooldown is. You can go absolutely crazy. It's a really nice change, and it's the first time we've seen something like this in Classic. So simulating the numbers, we are at 12,800. It's slightly behind Frost, but with some RNG, you'll be right up there. The very best simulation at the moment is Hunter with 13,400. So this is really good. But there is a but here, and this is because it's on a 60-second fight. If we crank that up to 2 minutes, you can see we start losing DPS straight away. And this will be a common theme with Fire Mage. You do the most damage early in the fight, but as it gets on, you start to drop to the bottom. So it really depends on how the fights are, how long they are, what kind of mechanics there are. If it's long fights with anti-caster mechanics, Fire is going to suck, but it's going to be really fun to play. This will be the best version of Fire so far we've seen in Season of Discovery. So let's look at where the damage comes from on a 60-second fight. You can see here a lot is coming from Bellfire Bolt, and that's because we can cast it now more than ever before. And as you can see, Living Bomb is doing loads of damage, which is absolutely fantastic. So your new rotation will be as follows. You will apply your Living Bomb as normal, and you will have Fire Blast straight into your rotation. As I've said so many times before, you can macro this ability into all of your abilities if you want, so it just casts on cooldown. We'll just want to cast it on cooldown. We immediately get the fire effects, and you want to pop all of your cooldowns, Icy Veins, etc., and start casting your Bellfire Bolts. Now there's a couple of things to remember with Bellfire Bolt. Firstly, they've changed it so that you won't die from the debuff unless the Bellfire Bolt hits the target. What's really good about this is the travel time, so you can remove your stacks while it's still in the air, so you can maximize your DPS. But basically, you'll be casting your Bellfire Bolts, and this is where the complex part of the rotation comes in. So obviously, your Bellfire Bolt can stack to a maximum of 5 before you die. Now you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is because it's in the air. That's the biggest change. So you want the 5 stack to send in the air, but you'll use your Pyroblast to drop your stack so you don't die. So from here, basically what you'll want to do is use your Pyroblast Hot Streak procs to drop your Bellfire stacks, but you'll want to drop them as high as possible. So don't just use Pyroblast as soon as they proc like we used to. We want to maintain the highest Bellfire Bolt stack as possible without dying. Eventually you'll reach a point where Bellfire Bolt will kill you, and that's where you can see the Pyroblast coming in to reduce the stack, the Bellfire Bolt, then you're using a Frostfire Bolt, another Bellfire Bolt, then a Pyroblast to reduce the stack, then a Bellfire Bolt. Then when you can't use your Bellfire Bolt, you use your Frostfire Bolt until you get the Pyro to drop the stacks. I probably make it sound very complicated, but it will be a lot easier, especially with weak auras. You'll keep an eye on your Bellfire Bolt stacks to make sure you don't die, and you'll use your Pyroblast to drop them down. Anytime that you can't Bellfire Bolt, you will just Frostfire Bolt until you can reduce the stack and go again. Hopefully that makes sense, and like I said, it probably looks a lot more confusing than it actually is, and I'm probably very bad at explaining things, so sorry for that. All in all, like I said, Fire is probably in the best place it's ever been in terms of rotation, fun and playstyle. The numbers are just not quite as good, and a lot of mages are very sad thinking, oh, we're going to be bottom of the DPS meter. The main thing to take from this phase is the top DPS isn't massively above the bottom DPS. All classes are very, very equal in that sense. So it's not like you're going to be a balanced druid in traditional classic trying to compete with a warrior. The gap is just not as bad. So it's very possible that a highly skilled fire mage will out DPS a hunter, so bear that in mind before you get sad. And let's look at the pre-best in slot recommended for the new raid. Now the 6 set Frostfire is not that great unless you're inside Nax, so we will be utilizing the Enigma set. So we'll take the Enigma head with the Hot Streak rune, the Gem of the Trapped Innocence, the Enigma shoulders with the Soul of the Torture, the Cloak of the Necropulas with the Overheat rune, the Frostfire robe with Enlightenment, the Frostfire bindings with the Bellfire Bolt, the ATS or the Soul Seeker, the Doom Finger, the Frostfire gloves with Living Bomb, the Frostfire belt with Frostfire Bolt, the Enigma leggings with Icy Veins, the Enigma boots with Spell Power, the Frostfire ring with Fire Specialization, the Ring of Eternal Flame with Frost Specialization, the Mind Quickening Gem, and the Restrained Essence of Sephiron. This simulates at 7,500 DPS. And finally, one honorable mention would be this Dark Moon card, Twisting Never. What this does is gives you a 100% chance to resurrect with 20% health and mana. This is really, really good if you just want to push your Bellfire Bolts or you want to play it safe. You can also take this if you don't have the other trinket. But yeah, that is everything you need to know for Fire Mage. Best of luck with the new raid. I hope everyone has a really, really good time. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and have a lovely day.